Hello, LEGO fans. Bricks Unbound here with another Building Hogwarts update. And today we're taking a look at the start of the Chamber of Secrets section of the castle, or I guess the under the castle part here. This is, of course, the very start of it. Basically, what I was doing is I was messing around with things, trying to figure out how to make a decent-sized snake statue head. And this is what I ended up with. It has, I think, like 62 or 63 total pieces in it, which is crazy for how small it is, but it's a pretty intricate build, studs going in pretty much all directions on it. So it was a lot of fun actually to figure out and build it. It is my own design. I was inspired though by I think it's called the Mighty Dinosaurs set for the overall start of the head design, but that set was a little bit too big. It was too wide for what I was wanting to do here and didn't really give off the correct snake head proportions, I didn't think. So I did a lot of tinkering around with various sideways building techniques, diagonal building techniques there, and this is what I ended up with. I don't really have enough pieces in the correct colors to complete the full set of them here. I think I'm going to have 6 total. I had enough only really to do one, and even then you could see that like white piece in there. So even with that, there's a few pieces I just need to get in light bluish gray, because I'd like the whole thing to be light bluish gray, other than the I guess fang pieces there. I don't know if those exist in that color, and they look fine in the more silver color. And then just for another spot of color, you can just kind of see it there. I used transparent green tiles for the eyes. That looked fun, and they're kind of described in the book as looking almost lifelike. I think it even particularly mentions their eyes, so I wanted to capture that idea here. So that's where I started with this mock, and then I was like, okay, let's see how that size of the snake heads fit with the space I've got here, and how much space do I want to dedicate to this. And from there I just started making other little parts of this and ended up with a general layout. Obviously there's a lot of non-custom things right here in front of me, so those need to be replaced, like this basilisk here, and then the statue of Salazar Slytherin down at the end. This is just straight from the Chamber of Secrets official set, sitting there to take up the space, but I definitely plan on making a much larger version of the head there, with its beard, spreading out much further off to the sides. And then for the basilisk, I need to just make my own version of it. I think this one is perfectly fine for the playset, but it's a little undersized. Although really, when I was comparing screenshots from the movie to what this looks like, it is almost the correct size for a minifigure scale. It's just a little bit too small. So I might use basically this head design for the head of it, and then just make the body in proportion to that. I think will get us pretty close. I've seen lots of other nice designs out there too of it built in Lego. I do think those are just a little bit too big though to be quite minifigure scale. They're beautiful designs, but I don't think it's quite what I'm after. So I'm going to try to whip up my own. For the rest of the Chamber of Secrets here, very unfinished. I just laid out the basic path where that's going to be here. I am planning on doing it sideways building like I've done down here. Again, had to substitute in these pieces in white because I don't have them in light bluish gray, so I'll need to get those ordered and on the way. But I think this gives a good height of it off of the ground here, because there's going to be a tile or two, a plate or two of height of water going down the sides here, and then also in this little trough area up here right in front of the face. So I need to figure out exactly how I want to build that water. It'll be a similar type of technique, I believe, to how I've done, or how I've started working on other sections of the castle here. I'll probably use more greens as far as the transparent pieces, or maybe the pieces underneath the transparent tiles on top, to get a little bit more of a murky underground feel. So that'll be coming, but I want to get all these statues here in place and then build out the rest of this walkway as well before I start putting down a bunch of tile that I might then have to rip up. But this is where I'm at right now, just the very beginning of it. Essentially the only thing I've done is figure out how I'm going to build these statues and then the general shaping of this front section here. And then I just ran out of parts. So that's what it's at for right now. And then I just kind of, for the fun of it, did a little bit more of what they run into approaching the chamber. So this represents the basilisk shed skin that they find. You know, it's just one piece a bunch of times, but I think it actually worked out fairly well for what I was going for. So I'll probably keep it like that. Might make some small tweaks because that was thrown together very quickly. And of course, they see that. Then they knock down all of the rocks when Ron's wand backfires on Lockhart. So I'll probably have a pile of rocks somewhere in here too, with Lockhart and Ron on one side, and then Harry, of course, is on the other side. Right now I have him just posed up on the Slytherin statue, but I could have multiple Harrys down in this section, I suppose, to represent the different sections. And then here is the door build for entering the chamber, just a bunch of that snake head piece. I might still do some color swapping here, but that is essentially just the build from the official set. I added on a couple extra snake head pieces there, but it should do the job. Just need to figure out how to build up rock work around it. And I guess now we haven't talked about yet where this is at in comparison to the rest of the castle. So right now there's stuff sitting all out of whack, but we've got, this is where the Great Hall is at, quad courtyard, the viaduct entrance hall area, and you can tell this is going to be raised up. And I actually already, for these tables back here, I did raise those tables up, but these other sections here are going to be raised up on Lego bricks because the tables aren't quite the right shape or size to raise these up. It'll mess up heights of other sections, and I might want to have stuff underneath over here, right? But for this section back here, which is where the astronomy tower sits and the transfiguration courtyard sits, I moved that stuff off the table. Astronomy tower is still there because it's so big. I didn't want to try to set it down on the floor. I'd be afraid I'd knock it over and break everything. But that's where we're at, is that this will be raised up as well. And then I have the back half of this that has the library section and Ravenclaw Tower and things that'll be held up across this. Then also the table. You will notice that this table in front actually has a little bit of a bow going to it, or it's bowing, excuse me. And you can actually really see that well as you look across those tiles in the back there. Because they should all be level with that table behind them, and they're not because the middle of this has sunk down some. I have gotten some additional legs to put more support under this table. Hopefully it's not too late to do that. It might be to fix it, so it might just over time hopefully bend kind of back into the correct shape once I give it some more support underneath. And then these supports are very basic, same general idea that I was doing before. But when you have them all lined up like this, it is actually pretty sturdy, and I can push down on it and not much is moving around. So I think it'll be good enough to hold up the weight of these types of sections. I can always add more supports under here too. I just need the pieces to do it. So that's where we're at as far as location of the total castle. What I have done here is these plates, the 32 by 32 plates in front here, I can actually just slide right off. I haven't attached them yet. And that's because it's a lot easier to build smaller sections up than it is to try and keep everything connected over here. I can take this to my building space, set it down, and have access to all parts pretty easily. I think that's going to about wrap it up for this update, though. So a very unfinished section of the castle, but a start to a pretty fun section, I think. But let me know what you think about this down in the comments, and please keep coming back for more videos. Thank you for watching.